Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I see the numbers coming in as we speak. So good to see everybody this morning. Okay, guys, I'm solo today, but Lauren is healthy and fine. I know she's been sick lately, so I wanted to announce that. But today, this morning, her car's sick. She was on her way and her car broke down, so she's at the mechanic today. So I just wanted to make a quick announcement. That's what's going on with Lauren. I should have the chat enabled, give me a little break today because, I'm usually not behind the controls like I am today. But hopefully the chat's enabled. And so anybody want to put a comment into the chat and I can make sure that's so. And then I've got the Q&A box open as well. I'm not going to be able to do the fantastic. Oh, excellent, Brenda. Thank you. Thumbs up. I got the chat working. Okay, we're going good here. Also, I wanted to say, and I'm going to forget the name, so please forgive me. I'm going to say your name wrong, but I want to do a thank you, a shout out to, I think it was like Armin or something like that, who told me about how to get the balloons off. Although I tried doing it, I think the balloons are still there. I cannot get the balloons to go away. Let's see. The balloons are back. I'm holding up my finger. No balloons this morning. Oh, see, I did it. I unchecked the jesters and I still got balloons. So I guess I'm just meant to have balloons in my life. But a major thank you for giving me a option on how to get the balloons off. Okay, guys, I am just going to be so brief and say Small Biz Talk. Your host, Lori Williams, is brought to you by the SBDC, and the SBDC is your tax dollars at work offering online courses, supporting and sponsoring my Small Biz Talk show, offering one-on-one advising. Lauren is going to be possibly in the chat, putting her email back in a little bit, and she is there to answer any questions you may have. Okay. I am going to get started with my announcements for this morning. We got a great show today, so I want to make sure we have plenty of time to do that as well. Okay, today I do have a few, I'm going to say more big, important announcements. I have my words of wisdom, but so much is going on right now. I have not really given you my words of wisdom, and today I'm going to make another new announcement for some people that it may involve. Okay, first of all, I've got my upcoming webinars coming. I'm doing the legal structure and tax advantages again because that really is a hot topic. I have a lot of people signing up for that. I also have my financial literacy series starting again. That also has been very, very popular. The link should be going into the chat for you guys, so hopefully they're there. If not, we'll get them to you one way or another. Upcoming shows next week, I have Chris Diaz coming on, and Driver Rentals is a really, I think it's just a fun, cute little company because when I was speaking to them, when they were saying rentals, I'm thinking like you go to the car place and you rent a car for the day. And after a while, I'm thinking, I'm not understanding something because they're saying things that don't make sense for a car rental. Well, then I found out they're really like, I'm going to call him right now and he's going to correct me. Golf cart, like these little golf carts that you can rent for the day, or they have at like a big event and they chauffeur you to the front door. They're really cute. It's a great business idea. I asked him to come on and tell us about it. I think you're going to find it really enjoyable. And then the following week, got our own frequent flyer. Randy's coming back on the show. Randy, good morning if you're in the chat there. Randy is the owner of Unique Textiles Beauty Supply. And I was kidding with Randy. I said, you've got so many words of wisdom from so many years. We're going to have a show that says what I learn when all of my clients are sitting in the chair. Okay. So she's going to talk a little bit about how she structured her company, what she's learned along the way. In all seriousness, every time I talk to her, she has young entrepreneurs that come into the salon and ask her a lot of questions. And she gives really good, just common sense advice. And I said, Randy, you got to come on the show and talk about that. So she'll be back on. Now, I've been talking about this for a while. It is the beneficial ownership information. I am going to continue to speak of this because it is a new requirement for most companies that are not sole props, but if you're incorporated, you're probably under this new ruling. Now, if you were set up and incorporated prior to January 1st, 2024, you've got till next year, January 1st, 2025 to file. But if you start a company this year, you only have 90 days. If you start a company next year, it's only 30 days. This is a requirement for a reporting document from the federal government. Okay, this isn't about the state, this is federal. FinCEN typically had been known for money laundering. They had rules about if you have a transaction that involves cash over a certain dollar amount, but now it's extended to this new ruling. And so what you have to do is go on this link and you have to fill out a form, and it's going to ask who are the beneficial owners, and you're going to have to upload either a state issued ID or a passport or several different documents that you can upload. And in that link that should be going into the chat, you can click on, there's two boxes when you first see it. And on the left-hand side, there's a lot of question and answers, great information there. On the right-hand side, you can even click and it says get started on the top, and you get to download a PDF so you can see an example of what it looks like. So I will spend next week, I'll probably just show you that PDF real quickly, but I'm just doing a shout out every single week because this has a $500 a day up to, I think, $10,000 fine if this isn't completed. And a lot of people don't know about it. So I'm really staying on top of it. Okay, quick announcement on something new, guys. If you have an EIDL or a PPP loan and you're in default, there is going to be a new program that has a deadline of March 3rd, where if you have a COVID EIDL loan under 100,000, you can have a repayment plan that you put in place, or if you have a PPP loan under 100,000, you can fill out a forgiveness application. Right now, I'm just doing an announcement. I just learned of this yesterday, and I wanted to do a shout out because there could be some people on the show that this is an advantage that are being affected by these loans. I'm going to start a training next week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Once again, this was just learned yesterday, so I haven't set up the time or the links. If you're affected by this and you want to know about my training, go ahead and email Lauren so she can get that out as soon as I get it set up and everything established. I don't have many answers on this yet, so I know you guys have a ton of questions. I haven't done all my due diligence in studying it, but it's a shout out to everybody so you have an awareness of it, okay? So with that, that's all the announcements that I have for today. Let's get to the exciting part about our show. So everybody's still talking about artificial intelligence, AI, and we've had several people on the show to talk about it. And one of the people that we've had on the show before is Deborah Deras. And in AI, I feel like now it's coming to a point where there is a lot of tools out there, and many business owners are saying, can I use this in my business? How would I use this in my business? And so today, Deborah Deras is on the show, and she is here to tell us about the different ways that companies are using AI. And however, with that, I am not sure where Deborah is. Today is an interesting day. Deborah, are you
here? I'm here.
like, okay, Lauren's gone, Deborah's gone. And
No,
okay,
I'm
Deborah,
here.
I
I'm
started to
here.
think, okay, maybe I am in an AI bubble and I'm really not here. Everybody else is, and I'm not, but you're
Did
here.
you think I was Beyonce? Because I'm wearing it. No, I'm just kidding.
I,
I
you
wore
know,
the cowboy hat before Beyonce. I think she was stealing my look, but that's okay.
I have a cowboy hat that I wear all the time. I tend to wear more cowboy type clothes. Well, you can see I got a little bit of that show
Me
here,
too.
but I have a
I got
cowboy
the
hat.
boots.
I do too. I'm gonna have to wear my cowboy hat next time you're on. You're gonna have to give me the memo, and I'll have my cowboy
Mm.
hat on. And I even have the jacket with the fringe. Do you have the fringe jacket?
Oh, I have the purse with the fringe.
Okay,
Mm.
I have the jacket with the fringe. I bought it again. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to buy this because I remembered wearing it when I was a kid. I had to have the fringe jacket. Okay, we can go on a fashion show forever, but first of all, thank you for coming back. You are a champion. This is the repeat champion because you are always coming back to my show. Now, today, what I thought we would do is we would narrow down on a few of these AI tools because now there's so many, it's like which ones are really an advantage and which ones are not. But before we do this, I was thinking before the show, you jumped on the AI bandwagon really, really quick, right away. And that's where you've gotten to the point where you're so knowledgeable on it. But let's walk back, Deborah, and go forward at the same time. This is what I mean. What appealed you about AI that caused you to just jump in and learn it really quick? And then also, from your experience, what have you seen in regards to the tools that are available over the time period you've closely monitored this and learned about it?
Well, it's for those of you that don't know me, I know there's like 65 people. I'm Deborah Deras. I am a small business owner just like you. And as a small business owner just like you, my biggest concern is, besides money, is time.
Yeah.
One of the things that when I first came for help, because I first came for help as a client of the SBDC in 1999 when I had a day job, and I realized I wasn't a cubicle chick and I couldn't do 45 years of imprisonment just to get a watch and a pension. It wasn't worth the health insurance. I couldn't do it. I lasted like 6 years at this job that I trained for 8 years to do, got my master's degree in it. And both my boss and I quit. She became a real estate agent in Manhattan Beach, doing really well. She still encourages me on Facebook, but couldn't do that. So as a small business owner, our biggest concern is money, having capital to be able to do what we love to do, what we want to do, and feel at peace. But the other thing is time. And
Yeah.
so, what I love about AI, and I'm going to explain what it is for those of you that are novice and layman's, in my eyes, what it is in simple terms, is it's all about efficiency, right? So I even wrote a book called Confessions of an Adrenaline Addict on how to overcome burnout because I just couldn't figure out as an entrepreneur, how do people do everything? Like
Yeah.
if you're the CEO and the COO, and then you're the CPA, and then you're the publicist, and now you want me to do social media, and how do people have freaking time to do
Yeah.
all these things? So when Michael D. Donato, um, I was on a staff meeting with him. He is a like financial legal type consultant, and he was saying that he used AI to take notes for a meeting, and it was transcribing notes for a meeting. Like, wait a minute, that sounds very efficient. I love the idea of having a tool that's going to help me. So the reason I took a deep dive is because, especially during the pandemic, my whole job day and night is to help the small business owner. And if there are tools out there that is going to help me help you, small business, increase your revenue, reduce your stress, and help you with your staffing issues, I better learn it. Because
Yeah.
as a consultant, those of you that don't know me, I'm a consultant for Long Beach SBDC, Pasadena SBDC, the Ventura, Santa Barbara SBDC, and I'm also working with Women Economic Ventures, and soon to be moving to Santa Barbara City College, which I'm really excited about. I'm developing an AI curriculum. I'll
Ah.
talk about that later. So in order to be able to serve you better, I just decided to take a deep dive. Um, and I started like the slippery slope. You want to hear the true
Yeah.
confession of how I got into AI? You guys are going to laugh. Those of you that know me on webinars, you know my dog Davino. Well, my baby, I never had a dog, I never had a kid, so my dog is my kid. And when Davino turned 1, of course, we had to have a birthday
Oh,
party.
of course.
But I am not the feminine, I don't even want to say the word feminine, that's not the right word. I'm not like an event person. Like I don't know how to host a party, right? I don't know what to buy, I don't know what I need. I'm just not, I'm a technology person. I just don't think that way. I don't go to stores, I don't go to Target, I don't go to Costco, I don't know what to buy. So I decided to use ChatGPT AI to create a list of food for the party. So I
Ah.
said, I'm having a party for my 1-year-old dog, and there will be people there because you have to train your AI to understand your target audience and what your goals are. You can't just blankly, generically go to AI and expect good results. What you put in is what you're going to put out. And I'm going to show you some examples in a moment. And I did that, and it literally broke down a list. It's like, oh well, you need to have appetizers, and then you need to have utensils, and then you need to have these kind of drinks, and you need to have finger foods, and you need to have this. And I took the whole list I put it into Costco online because I'm not going into Costco. I do not have the time for that. And within an hour, it was delivered to my door. If I would have gone in person, I would have ended up with a printer. I would have ended up with, last time I went to Costco, I got a $400 blender, which I do love. It's Blendtec. I've had it for 12 years. It's still working very
Well,
well.
that's amazing within itself.
No, I know, but I don't trust myself at Costco. So it was so efficient that not only did it tell me what to buy, but I was able to get the order, get it delivered, and not have to ever leave my house. I could focus on doing my work. So that's how I see AI to serve my small business owner. This large language model that is able to analyze data and to be able to create generative AI, able to create content, to create graphics, create ideas that's going to help you, the small business owner. I need to know it so I can teach it to you.
Yeah, it's so funny when you were talking about taking notes. I remember back in the olden days, I would have this tape recorder that I would take the notes and then it would transcribe it and then it would email me a copy of it. Remember those olden days? I don't know if ever you.
Yes.
But what my whole point about even bringing that up is even back then, I was always asking that exact same question. What tools are available to me to help me be as efficient as you said? Now, with that though, Deborah, is that overwhelmed because then I would be like, well, I'd almost be this person that's chasing, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. And then I was so caught up in learning the technology, it added burden to my life to learn how to use it. And I'm not knowledgeable enough about AI like you are, but I'm assuming that there's some tools that are really easy to use. You can use them within seconds. There's not a huge learning curve, and some that are not. So out of this whole AI field that's now a plethora of tools available, can you help us, the novice AI users, striving for efficiency on some few ones that we should really narrow in? And let's pick one and get in detail about it so we can answer how is it going to help us? How hard is it to learn? Why would I use it? Why wouldn't I use it? All that neat stuff. Let's pick one and just start chatting.
Okay, so I'm going to pick the one that's probably the most popular,
Okay.
developed by OpenAI, ChatGPT 4.
Okay.
I'm specifically saying ChatGPT 4. It's the paid version of ChatGPT. You definitely can practice and try out 3.5, but 3.5 is it's not up to date, and it's like if you were going to hire maybe a high school intern,
Mhm.
and ChatGPT 4 is getting a college student that has a master's degree and speaks 10 languages.
Gotcha. So the paid version, because that's always the question people have. Can I use the free as the paid? Say I have, well, first of all, do you have any kind of ideas just so we know about how much does it cost? Just, I'm not holding it to you, just a feel for it. Oh, we're not hearing you. Hold on, everybody.
It's
Oh,
$20 a
$20 a
month.
month. Emmy just said, okay, so
Twenty
20,
dollars. Wait, it's $20 a month for individuals, but now they have teams.
okay.
And I'm gonna do a demo for you. I always recommend for anything that you always start with the free version. It's kind of like you don't want to buy a Peloton bike if you're not going to use it. That's why I had a Sunny bike for 5 years. And then I got my Peloton once I realized I am going to bike inside. You definitely, the reason why ChatGPT 4 is so cost efficient, when you realize all the different job functions it can do, and it includes a graphic design program. So you were mentioning at you asked like 20 questions. So I'm
I
going to
know.
try to rewind back to answer 10 of the questions that you
Yeah.
asked me. You said, some of them are hard to learn and there's a learning curve. Well, it's kind of good and you're not behind if any of you didn't get started with AI, because AI companies realize that if they're not easy to use and simple, there's going to be another AI app or tool that is better. Like Google tried Google Glass, it didn't work. Then now Apple has their Apple glasses, which are the better version of Google Glass. So if it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be user friendly and people aren't going to recommend it, it's not going to last because the fastest starting startups are all AI related. And so there's just going to be something better. Like Midjourney, which was a graphic design program, you had to like take a class to learn prompts. So immediately, OpenAI made ChatGPT create Dolly, which is the same and now almost better than Mid-Journey, because ChatGPT is rewriting the prompts for you. Imagine.meta is a graphic design program that, like ChatGPT, like Mid-Journey, is free, because Meta is stealing your soul, but we'll talk about that later. So there's so many benefits for ChatGPT 4. I see a lot of people in the chat saying that they're using ChatGPT 4, and I can right now give you a demo of
Yeah,
like
let's do
how.
a demo. And I think you got hosting capability to also show your screen. If not, we may have to figure it out because Lauren normally would do that. So let's see if you can share. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, give us a demo.
Yeah, let me give you a beautiful demo.
Okay.
Are you over here at my screen, ChatGPT?
Not yet. We were a minute ago, but we're not now.
Okay,
I
it's okay.
did see it launch. So you're sharing via Zoom. Okay, it's launching. Okay, now
Okay.
the screen. So yes, teach us something.
So, and by the way, I saw somebody in the chat that said where to get started. This is where I got started with the birthday party. And what I suggest people do when you're starting with AI, because you don't need to know a million different tools. I'm going to show you three today. ChatGPT 4. I'm going to show you Canva Magic. I'm teaching with Pasadena SBDC tomorrow, a free webinar. I'll drop it in the chat
Perfect.
before
Perfect.
the
Because I don't
end.
know if Annie's with us, so let's make sure we get a link
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
gonna teach you how to use Canva Magic, and then we're gonna do a little bit of meta. So the very first thing that you want to do when you are, and so you want to think of AI as if you were to hire somebody, right? Because you're hiring them, but instead of paying whatever hundreds of thousands of dollars for a staff person, workers' comp, health insurance, attitude problems. No offense to people, I love people. People, AI is not going to replace people, but there are a lot of benefits of having a 24/7 copywriter, graphic designer that's at your disposal.
Right.
But like any human, you need to train it. So, but once you train it and you train it the right way, it's going to be good. It's going to understand your business. And more importantly, it's going to understand your culture. And you're going to be, my clients that I've been working with, I work with a lot of small business clients, are shocked and pleasantly surprised about how fast it learns your core values and how authentic it can begin to sound once you train it. But the very first thing that you want to do when you get your Chat GPT 4, see how it comes with Dolly,
Yeah.
is you want to train it by customizing it. So when you click
Okay.
on your
Yeah.
name will be right over here. You just double click on it. And then there is a little box when you double click on your name that says customize Chat GPT, which is basically your training wheels, right?
Okay.
It's going to ask you questions that are very, very generic. I don't suggest you use these questions. In fact, I'm going to show you what questions you should ask
Okay. Awesome.
that are even better than these. But I just wanted to show you where this was.
Okay.
Um, it's just you click on your name and it says customize Chat GPT. So they are asking you questions because they think you're just a regular person. They don't know you're a super entrepreneur. They're
Yeah,
just
because
like you're,
I look
they
at
think
this.
you're a mere
Yeah.
mortal, but you're not. Okay.
Yeah, because as
Uh,
I look at this question, it seems like it's not real specific to what I would want to know in my
exactly.
company. I was
So
thinking that
what
immediately. So how do we go from
So
there?
what you do is you go to your chat. And by the way, I have all these plugins like that. And I'm going to give you a resource sheet, which will give you a link. So I have all these plugins. So I don't even have to know prompts. It's telling me how to optimize my website, how to write a great article to rank on Google, how to do a mid-journey prompt, which you don't need now, with how to do a script creator, all this stuff. So anyway, when you're in here, what you want to do is say, you are a digital marketing. No, you are the best digital marketing agency in the nation. I have hired you to help me with, somebody put their company in the chat so we can use your real life company. What is your company? Just put it in the chat. Um, and then I'll choose your company.
Skywork. We got Skywork.
Okay.
See it there?
What is
Yep.
Skywork, Mario? Earth and Halo Skincare. What is
Skincare.
Skywork, Meyer? Um,
I think, yeah.
Aerial photography. Oh, perfect. I love it, Mario. That is
Okay.
cool. Okay, I've hired you to help me with my And obviously, we want to give them as much information as possible. Aerial photography company. What questions do you need to ask me to be able to create a marketing campaign, social media strategy, sales plan to convert my messaging to over we can say over 1 million in sales or whatever you want to say. Boom.
So, Deborah, if I get this, so what you're doing is you're using Chat GPT to tell you what questions you should
Exactly.
ask GPT. I love this. So you could put in, like, you don't even have to figure out the questions. You get Chat to tell you what questions. I love this. Okay, I had to make sure I was following, and we
You
were
are following. Is everybody
okay.
else following?
Yeah, I just
So
want to make sure everybody else with us, and I got the chat and the Q&A open today, so I'm looking at both guys. You can
so
communicate with me there. Okay,
so
let's go. Yeah,
when we were going to the custom instructions, it was asking basic generic things like where do you
yeah,
live, where do you work? But no, we're using ChatGPT not for our health, not for personal, maybe a little bit, but mostly for business, right?
right.
So what we want to do is we want to answer these questions. And by the way, if you work with an SBDC consultant, which you should, um, they're going to help you with this. They're gonna
Deborah.
ask you.
Yep.
They're gonna
Remember, yeah, I want to make sure everybody on our line knows Deborah is an SBDC advisor. You can get an appointment with her for a one-on-one. Just wanted to do some marketing for you, Deborah. I
but
want to
not
make
just
sure everybody
me,
knows.
not just me. We have
Yeah,
hundreds, thousands of SBDC consultants, and some of them are experts in business plans. Some of them are experts in sales. You know what I mean? So if you would work one on one with them, they're going to ask you, what is the mission and vision? You're going to be like, well, why am I wasting time? I just want to get to the sales. This is what's going to get you to the sales. So you're going to answer these questions. And I always say to my clients, clarity is cash. And then when you answer them, you're just going to drop them right here in the custom instructions. Even in the custom instructions, you tell ChatGPT, which I call mine Charlie or Chaz for short, could be male, female, depends on my mood. And it says, do you want to be addressed as sir or ma'am or lady or boss babe or whatever? It'll say, okay. And I'm always very polite with my ChatGPT. I'm like, thank you, please, but you don't have to be, but I like to be. So then you basically, it only gives you 1,500 characters. So you're not going to get all of this in there, but definitely give them your mission and vision. Definitely give them your target market and definitely give them your outcomes. That way, when you're asking them, can you help me write a press release? Can you help me write? And always when you ask them for help, give them the outcome. It's like if you were, so think of AI as if you were to train somebody that walked into your office, you wouldn't say, I want you to post on Instagram. Because if you did that with a 22-year-old, they think, oh, you want followers. Oh, you want to go viral. No, you need to tell them it's not about followers. It's not about going viral. We are in business. We pay the rent and we pay your salary in sales. It's not in followers. I'm not going to pay you in followers. So if you're not generating sales, you're not going to be here. So you need to tell your AI, listen. This is all for revenue generating activities.
so I'm going to just walk us through in one sentence. So once I asked ChatGPT what questions I should look at, I have to look at these questions and still spend some time with my own brain,
Yes,
knowing
yes.
my situation, writing down then what question to put in there. I just wanted to connect that. What I love to hear about it, Deborah, is that we're customizing by still using our own brain, because I'm not against AI, but I just don't think AI eliminates the brain. But if it partners
No,
with the brain,
no.
then I think it's really fantastic.
And that's why it doesn't eliminate the SBDC either. And that's why I was saying you and your SBDC consultant can answer these questions and then you put them back in. But the thing about, I think what I love about AI and what was frustrating before is I was coaching people and I was giving them a social media marketing strategy, but they weren't implementing it. And they weren't implementing it not because they didn't want to, it's because they didn't know how. Now with ChatGPT, they can write, once they have this information, they can write you a 30-day strategy. They can write you each day what to post on Instagram. And you can look at it and edit it and customize it if you need to. A lot of it with ChatGPT 4, you may not need to. But you're going to be able to implement a lot of the strategies faster and easier because they're going to help you and do it for you.
Fantastic. Now, a quick question on just your thoughts on this, Deborah. So I know, or I believe I know that Chat GPT is pulling from, I'm just going to say the ether of what's already in existence. Do you find that you still are getting original? Because everything I always hear from marketers is we want to have some originality, some creativity. But then if I think it's just regurgitation, are we losing original content for ourselves?
Well, that's because they're not customizing it. So
Okay.
if you take the time to put your unique selling proposition, if you take the time to put your brand story, if you take the time to have your core values, if you take the time to give it a sample social proof testimonial, it's going to understand your business. And it's up to you to make sure that the content that you get back is in alignment with your authentic brand voice. And if it's not, then you need to edit it. But it will be if you customize it. I find that you can even with ChatGPT say, like, say you've written blogs, Lori, you could say, write it in the style of Lori.
Mm.
And because you have information out there, it'll write it in
You know
your
what I
style.
love about what you're saying too is it goes back to the fundamentals of hiring somebody. If you hire people and you don't give them the information and direct
Right.
outcome, you don't get a good result. And if you have to fire them, it's
Exactly.
your fault, perhaps, right? So this goes back to the same concept
Yes.
of knowing
Yes.
what you're trying to achieve and being clear about it. Love it, Deborah. Love it. Okay,
Yes.
what else can we?
Clarity is cash. Everybody
I love
say
it.
it. Clarity is
Clarity
cash.
is cash.
Clarity is cash.
You
Clarity is
know,
cash.
I find it's so funny because I noticed over my years of existence, one of the comments I get back all the time that I'm very clear, I'm very precise and very clear. And that's just who I am as a person. But I do believe that being very clear and decisive is such an important skill to have. Well, this is awesome. So, where else can we go this morning to learn cool tricks?
Okay, I have a couple more things with
Okay.
ChatGPT, and then I'll move on
Yep.
to something else. Somebody had a great question in the chat, Amy Tang. I just want to answer it. She said, "Where do we get started learning the basics of AI?" So at first, I started taking different courses. And it was kind of like what you said, Lori. I got overwhelmed because I would take one course and they were like, these are the top 10 apps. And then I would take another course and these are the top 10 apps. And I was like, it's just too many. And then I just said, who are the major players, right? Like Google, Apple,
Yeah.
Meta. And then I
Yeah.
decided just to like laser in on it's kind of like social media platforms, right? When social media platforms first came out, you're like, I'm so overwhelmed. There's a million different platforms. And the first thing that I teach when I teach a social media marketing class is you don't have to be on every single platform. You just need to be on the ones of where your target market is and where the main players are. And once I broke it down that there's really only four main players, the ones that are on trial with Congress, Amazon, Meta, Snapchat, TikTok, those are the main. Facebook, which is Meta, Google, which is YouTube. Google and YouTube are the same. So you don't have to learn a million. And I decided to stop taking so many training because I realized these influencers were learning in real time like I was, and they were just doing whatever's the next hot thing. And it wasn't necessarily what was going to be here to stay. So what I did do, Amy, which I really think was a good investment of my money, is I got this app called Curio. Remember, I said the key thing with AI is to be curious. So we talked about clarity as cash, and we talked about the energy of exploring AI is just out of curiosity. Well, what is this? And what you want to ask yourself is, how can it help my business? How can it help me? That's where you want to focus your AI on. So when I went to Curio, what it does is it synthesizes all of the journals that are out there. Wall Street Journal, Wired Magazine, New York Times, and it separates the articles in sections. So if you want to invest in the stock market, it has like stock articles. If you want to just focus on AI, it has AI articles, and it's audio. And I'm an audio learner, so you have to know your style. If you're a visual learner, then you want to read magazines. Wired Magazine is a great magazine. Business Insider is a great app that has great articles if you want to read. But because I'm an auditory learner and I know that, I listen. So when I'm on a walk with my dog, which is 3 times a day when it's not raining, I listen. I listen to a couple and they read it to me. And you could speed it up if you have a fast brain or slow it down if your brain is operating slower. And It's awesome. So I
But
get
tell
so
me, is
much knowledge.
Curio something different than Chat, or is Curio a part of Chat GPT? Just so
No,
I
no,
can.
no. It's totally no. She asked me, where can I get started with the
Okay,
basics
so
of
it's a
learning
different thing.
AI?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So Curio is like a library. So
Oh, gotcha.
it's a library of magazines that is being read to you
Okay. Okay. Because
audibly, like
what's interesting.
Audible.
Gotcha. Okay, which I use Audible because really, I was when you were starting talking about this, I was going to ask you a dumb question here, but it falls into what you're speaking of. So, Deborah, in my research a lot, I'm trying to figure out, well, what's the best camera to use and what's this? And I spend hours going through all these reviews and everything. Is there an AI tool that will help me to do research for whether it's a technology or something in my business I need to use or anything like that? Can ChatGPT also say, give me the best top 5 cameras for my Zoom calls and why I should use them? Can it
Yeah, of
do like
course.
that?
Yeah, Chat GPT 4 would be good for that. Chat GPT 3.5 won't be up to date.
Gotcha.
That's why I
Okay.
recommend updating. I just dropped the webinar for Canva Magic because
Excellent.
looking at the time, we're not going to have time to go over it. So let me show you some other cool things with Chat GPT. So another reason why you want to have Chat GPT 4 is because it has what's called plugins. So you know how you have a car and you have like navigation, you have a stereo system, you have tinted windows, you have different add-ons. Plugins are like add-ons. You want to think of them maybe like also apps on your phone. So there is a Chat GPT plugin for Canva. The reason for plugins from the technology's point of view is they don't want you to leave. Like if you're going to leave ChatGPT to go to Canva, it loses your eyeballs and it doesn't get the revenue generation capabilities if you're over at Canva doing Canva. So it wants to keep you on its platform. So it has integrations. So now it will, like if you do a post and you say, can you make me a Canva template? It can make it for you. So that is awesome. The other cool thing is that now there's GPTs. So there's a GPT store. So maybe you've created a very cool this is access computation math curated knowledge and real-time data, right? So there's all these cool prompts that people have made, like solutions to problems that they've had. Maybe they want to convert text into a spreadsheet for a budgeting. um, I saw one that was like helping you to save money on your budget and they showed you how to do it. But there's all these cool GPTs that you can use and that you can sell if you create your own GPT. So if you guys want to get into that, and you do not need to know code because they're already created for you. Most of you may not want to do that. But the other thing that I highly recommend ChatGPT 4 for is it includes Dolly. What
Yeah,
is
what's
Dolly?
Dolly? Yeah, what's Dolly?
So Dolly is it's so there's so when we talk about generative AI, it's creating text, but also creating images, creating video, which I talk about in other webinars. By the way, I do about I don't know, 10 different AI webinars through the SBDC, and they're no cost. I'm starting to do things in person. I did something at the Beverly Hills Chamber. I'm doing something at Santa Barbara Score. If you guys are more in person people, stay in touch with me and you can see where I'll be. But Dolly is so cool because it's text to image. So say you just did a prompt, so you were doing a prompt about your aerial photography company, and then you said, can you make an image for my LinkedIn post for my aerial photography business? If once you train your chat GPT, you're not going to have to keep saying aerial photography. It's going to know. And if see where it says team workspace, if you have multiple people in your company, you could put them on the same team so they're all trained. You don't have to train each chat GPT. They're all trained. And they give you like a discount rate for that. That was new too. Okay. Um, so by the way, when I'm going to give you a resource sheet. I'm also going to give you a YouTube playlist for those of you that want to go deeper down the rabbit hole. You can watch a lot of videos that I've watched, but you don't have to. Those of
And
you
let
that
me comment on
don't want to
that.
go deep on the rabbit hole, I really recommend Curio. I didn't mention Curio is like $99 a year, but it's the equivalent. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, it put a LinkedIn thing on there. I did not necessarily want to put
Elise,
that.
that's funny. Oh, I just wanted to make a mention to the audience. Lauren is going to take your email and send out the handout that Deborah's talking about. So I know anybody on the audience is like, how do I get a hold of these resources Deborah's talking about? Lauren is getting that to you, just so you know.
I'm gonna see.
I,
I'm
I
gonna
think
see if
that's
it can
funny
take
with
out
the
the.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
It misunderstood me.
I like that though. I mean, it did answer you literally. It did provide that. That's pretty
Right.
funny.
That is pretty funny. Um, So anyway, there's some really beautiful graphic designs. I want to show you Meta. I'm going to move
Okay.
over to Meta.
Yep.
I have a whole class on ChatGPT. In fact, if you go to the Long Beach SBDC, and you click on workshops, I'm teaching. Um, is it Thursday? I think I'm teaching two classes on Thursday. I'm teaching in the morning, Pasadena, Canva Magic, and I believe in the afternoon, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody that's on Long Beach, sbdc.org/workshops. Oh, good. It revised it without
Oh,
the
nice.
link in the
And keep in mind, Lauren's going
cool.
to have her email address in the chat. If you have any questions, all you have to do is send them to Lauren. They'll come to me. I'll get you in touch with anything you need to know to follow up on any of this.
Okay, because everything that I teach is okay. All right. Okay. So let's go over to Meta. You guys
Okay.
ready? Ready?
Yep.
So the reason I like Meta for those people that are not ready to take a deep dive into AI is because it's free. And as small business owners, free is for me is a great motto that we have. Okay, so what is Meta? Meta, for those of you that are on Facebook and those of you that are on Instagram, you may or may not know Meta owns, it's the new name for Facebook, but Meta, and also Google, and also every single technology company, they're all redirecting their focus on AI, all of them. So there was a lot of tools that Facebook was going to do. They were going to do groups, they were going to do podcasting, and they looked at the future of life and they said, you know what? We need to put all our energy, all our investment, all our time into AI. So, by the way, I just taught a class at Netflix. We did a virtual vision board goal setting for producers of Netflix. And it was
Oh,
awesome. I walk in the door, Will Ferrell is there, and I'm like, um,
oh, that's so cool.
Sofia Vergara's posters up. I'm like, if I run into Sofia, my Colombiana sister, I'm gonna go crazy, right? Anyway, so back to Meta. So, Meta, you need to have either a Facebook account or an Instagram account to access Meta. It's free, except remember I was joking around, they own your soul. So
Yep. Yep.
it's kind of like TikTok. I really had a lot of resistance to TikTok. I still do. I don't like it. I don't know why, but there was a thing going viral on TikTok and everybody was talking about it and people were sending me things and I got on TikTok. Anyway, what does TikTok do? That's a smart thing in business. It gives you everything free, but it puts its logo on it. So same thing with Imagine with Meta. So Imagine is like a third party AI company that Meta hired, and they put their logo on everything that you create.
Gotcha.
So say you're doing, I saw somebody that say about natural skincare. So natural organic skincare to reduce, let's say, pigmentation. So say you have a product line. I saw somebody up here and I want them to create it for me. So obviously, the more specific, the better the results you're going to get. It's different than ChatGPT, so it's not going to remember. It's not customized. So say you didn't have images for your product, it's going to give you a series of different images,
And you can use
right?
these images with no concern
Yes.
because they got Meta's logo on it, right? So Meta
Yeah,
has.
well, it's not really the Meta logo. It's the AI company that Meta
Oh, I
hired
gotcha.
to do. So it's right here, but guess what? I mean, so you just can download it. You
Okay.
could actually put your logo over it. Um, you can put your logo right here. You could use Canva Magic if you come to my class tomorrow at 10 a.m. and erase this if you want to. I don't know. So here is that. So
Gotcha.
anyway, and you could give it feedback and say, recreate this, recreate that. Um, but I've had some of my clients use that. You want to know real life case studies. They
Yeah.
use it for maybe for their social media, for a crowdfunding campaign, for a PowerPoint, for a pitch deck, for website. I mean, this is why photographers and graphic designers are a little nervous about AI.
Yeah.
And this is why the writers went on strike and the actors went on strike, because there's so many ways that AI can replace people from these kind of things, right? So if you can get all the photography and all the graphics you need through Dolly, Canva, Midjourney, Imagine with Meta, why do you need to hire a photographer or a graphic designer? So,
Does it get
and
to a point where the graphic designers may be marketing themselves on originality since they're able to, create something that doesn't exist where AI's only pulling from something that already exists?
no, AI is not creating, like they are generating this based on what
Right.
we said. So it's not based on something that already exists. This is something it's based on what we typed in. They're generating it.
Are they recreating and drawing that picture, or are they pulling from a picture that exists and putting it together, is what I'm saying.
No, they're
Oh,
it's
yeah.
generative AI. They're creating it based on what I say. So if I say natural to reduce pigmentation, so when we talk about AI, it's accumulating information that exists in reality, but it's creating it from
Gotcha.
co-creating it with you from scratch.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's a picture of this out there based on what I said. It's
Gotcha.
getting it's a large language model, so it's getting inspiration from what's out there in the world, but it can also create things that don't exist. Like if
Okay.
you've seen some of the images in Midjourney, it's like wow, based on how descriptive you can be.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, so I know someone in our audience asked, and I'm still trying to get a lawyer to come on our show and talk about this as to whether you can work if you have to worry about copyrights using some of this information. It's still kind of out there. It's still questionable. People really don't know the answer to that yet.
Yeah, my attorney, my best friend is an intellectual property attorney, and she hates. You know why? Because for attorneys, it's very problematic
Right,
because
exactly.
there's not a precedent to how to deal with it, and you won't know until somebody gets sued. And even the Sam Walton, the one of the founders of OpenAI, he said at a keynote speech, he's like, if anybody gets sued of anything, OpenAI will cover your legal costs. How is that even possible for him
Yeah,
to say
you just
that?
don't know. You
Right.
know, I know. I get asked that, and I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I know precedents from my legal understanding. And if there's not a precedence, even with some of our new laws in HR, you don't know how the law is going to be applied. So it's still a we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, by the way, February 29th, I just put a link in there. I'm doing a Q&A with Brad just on anything social media, which can include AI. So if you had questions, there were so many people here and they did not get answered, come to that Q&A and you'll be able to just ask me anything. If any of you are interested in a one-on-one appointment, I do work through the SBDC. I can put a link
You put your link.
into the chat. Um,
Because my
and you
goal
guys,
today was just to kind of, touch the surface and let you guys know who Deborah is if you don't. And so you know to get in touch with her and you know what she talks about. That was my goal, and we're definitely achieving that.
and by the way, the resource sheet that you're going to get from Lauren, um, what I did was for the past 6 months, because I have no kids, just a very demanding dog, I just researched all the different ways you can use AI. So, how to use it for websites, how to use it for e commerce, how to use it for graphic design, how to use it like all the different uses. And I categorized everything
Okay.
the way I would want it. And then I put it all the links to everything. And then things that didn't work or I didn't like, I would erase it and then I would add it. And then what else did I put on your resource sheet? So Canva, I told Canva, I said, listen, Canva, I called them. I'm like, I'm doing all these webinars on your workshops. You need to be, giving me something. So Canva was like, no problem. We'll make you a Canvassador. They gave me a hat, a t-shirt, a pin, and they gave me free trials for everybody. So I have like this link for 45 days of free trial for anybody, because when you have Canva, it includes AI. So one of the coolest things, can I just really quickly show you Canva? This will tease you for tomorrow's
Got
workshop.
10 minutes left. Keep going,
Oh,
Deborah.
good. Okay, good. Because one of the most amazing things that I personally use Canva for. So back in the day, we were all using PowerPoint for presentations, right? And then maybe
Right.
we went crazy on Google Slides, or we used Prezi or something like that. Can you believe Canva, included in Canva, has AI? It's called Magic Studio. So they not only they will create your presentation for you, not just the graphics. So I did this. I'm doing a webinar. This is a private webinar for a nonprofit organization. I had to create marketing video to really convert to sales, my 6 steps. And I made my own 6 steps, but then Canva Magic added like pro tips and they like they made the design. They used my brand colors because they're so smart with AI. By the way, these images are AI. This is not a real person. This is AI generated image. This is an AI generated image. So like my presentations, and they also animate my presentations, which I do not know how to do. This is AI. Adobe stock photo has AI. So this, by the way, is all my original content. But then look, Canva added this pro tip, shoot each clip. I'm like, that is a great idea. And then pro tip, sound and lighting are good idea, Canva. So they added content into my, and then they did another pro tip. I edited this to add anyway, and then they did this pro tip. And so they basically, what would have taken me hours and hours to do, Canva did the graphics, they did my colors, because when you have a Canva Pro account, it keeps your brand colors, in here. So the other thing that Canva can do, watch this, you guys watching? Oh my God. So see where it says resize and magic switch, and it says translate. So Canva can translate this to any language. If I want this to be in Arabic, it will just create a new copy. And I asked my client that is a language interpreter, and she told me that it was like super accurate. So now I have this presentation in Arabic if I wanted to put it on my YouTube channel. It can also, this is crazy. It could also make a handout. So say you wanted to transform it into a summary of the presentation. If you wanted to make the presentation to a blog post, you want to make the presentation into a poem, you want to write a song about your presentation. Oh my God. So I can go on and on, but I will tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pasadena SBDC. Oh, that was a good marketing segue. There's no cost. It's never trust a marketer that doesn't market.
So in Canva, so we can just back up if somebody hadn't even been exposed to Canva before. Canva can be used for a PowerPoint, can be used for your website. Can we give the summary to somebody who's like still saying,
yes.
What is Canva?
So Canva's unique selling proposition is graphic design made easy for everyone.
Okay.
And the reason that Canva is doing AI is because I honestly was going to cancel Canva, because once I discovered Midjourney and DALL-E and Meta, I'm like, what do I need Canva for? I don't need them to make graphics for me. I can make graphics on my own. But Canva obviously was thinking the same thing. And so Canva, which is what I'm going to share tomorrow, has like 12 AI features. If you have the free account, you have 5 uses per month included in your free version.
So you can,
if you have the paid,
get a feel for it. Yeah.
If you have the paid version, which ranges from $20 a month, I got a team. So mine's like 119 per year, which averages out to $12 a month, which also allows me to invite my team member who's in Venezuela to have access to everything. So then she has my brand kit. So she can only use these colors. She can only use these fonts. She can only use these templates. And it has the brand voice programmed. So just like you customize ChatGPT, you can customize Canva. So everybody says, oh, AI is not good. It's so generic. It's generic if you don't customize.
That's
It's kind of like fashion. Fashion, well, everybody has the hat. Well, it is the same hat if you don't make it your own and have your own flavor with a headset.
Yeah. I think that's the big takeaway is the customization of these tools.
Right.
Because, you know, I got to say, Deborah, for the longest time, because everybody, when they talk about AI, they talk about website, they talk about social media, they talk about marketing, that it makes you think, well, if you're not really doing any of that within your business, there's not as much of a use. You get what I'm saying by that? Can you comment on that? Because that's all you ever hear is graphic, 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 or make a grocery list. What about the other aspects in our business? We should consider AI beyond whether we do it for graphics or not.
Yes. So and this is what I teach when I do my AI webinar 101. I have like 5 slides on all the uses for AI. You could use AI for copywriting. You could use AI to optimize your website, which would cost you $1,000 if you were to hire an SEO consultant. Now there are AI programs that can optimize your website. You could use AI to write a blog for you. I use AI to rewrite my newsletters. So I never before AI would be consistent about newsletters. Now I really believe that the reason I'm so booked, I'm doing like 2 webinars a day. I'm working 12 hours today, yesterday, I'm working 8 to 8 because I'm able to do more of the things I know I should do. My newsletter, my blog, webinars, podcasting, all the marketing strategies, posting on LinkedIn, which I never did before. Now I do because AI is making it easier, faster, more efficient. I have time to do the marketing activities. So consequently, I have more business. Does it make
Awesome.
sense?
Yep, totally,
Does it
totally.
make
And
sense?
it seems like it's fun too. You know, so many times we have to do drudgery things as a business owner. This is a fun thing. So therefore, I want to say that the customization was the takeaway. And Deborah, we got about 4 minutes or so left. I want to just give you the stage. Anything else you want us to know? And thank you so
Well,
much for what we
I
learned
want
today.
to answer Amy's question. Amy, you're so good because you're putting your questions in the Q&A. Those of you that put it in the chat, they get lost.
They
But if you
do.
put it in, but you put it in the Q&A, I can see it. So Amy says, Deborah mentioned she'll be teaching in Pasadena. Can I have more info? So the Pasadena webinar is online. There is no cost and you can attend from anywhere. So in the chat, and also Lauren will send it, I guess, out in an email.
Yeah.
There is a link for pccsbdc.org, and then you click workshops. There it is. And then you could also see longbeachsbdc.org/workshops. And for those of you in Ventura and Santa Barbara, I am totally available through the EDC as well to do one-on-one coaching with you. So there we go. Somebody said, ¿Cómo pongo el traductor? I think you were asking me about the translation of things. And so that's what I was showing you with Canva, how you can translate. Almost every AI platform is going to have some sort of translation because with large language model technology, it's so easy. They just upload the vocabulary of Arabic and Hebrew, and it's just touch of a button, everything's translated, which is wonderful for cross-cultural information. Is it possible to build a website through ChatGPT? Oh, Karen, can I show you something, Karen? So AI built me a website. You want to see it? Let me show you. So I started doing AI training after I spent 3 months learning it. And I'm like, why not? Let me start training. I trained just on what I knew, right? So AI through every Shopify, GoDaddy, WordPress, they all have AI. So AI created the website. They did all the graphics. They put the only thing I did was put the content, which I use ChatGPT, put a little thing here, programs, all the different AI programs. And guess what happened after I created this? I got offered a position at Santa Barbara City College to create a curriculum. Look at all my SBDC
Yep.
testimonials. And I always also teach in Arkansas. Not just LA, California, Santa Barbara. I'm also in and Louisiana. Amazon person hired me for the Santa Barbara. So I spoke at an AI conference, even though I had imposter syndrome and did not feel qualified. But I was like, I'm only going to share my experience and how I've used AI. There were going to be very smart, genius technology engineers on the panel that were going to talk about the back end. I talked about the front end. And then Santa Barbara City College loved it so much. They said, will you create a curriculum for us? And the good news for you, you're like, what's in it for me? So what's in it for you is, because we got to focus on you always. The curriculum that I develop is going to be offered online, and it's going to be a certificate, and you're going to get a badge on your LinkedIn, and it's going to be offered to the public. And I believe it's going to be free. So
Awesome. Awesome.
either for you, or maybe you have a young person that you want them to have the edge, and AI is the future. But it's really going to be focused for small business owners, so it's not really for younger people necessarily, but it's going to be like a 5 to 6 week course online that I'm going to be teaching, probably starting in the fall. Education is slow. So if it were me, I would have it ready by June, but because there's a process and curriculum has to be approved and developed, and I have to be a faculty, and I'm also going to start teaching classes at Santa Barbara City College. Yeah.
Oh,
So I'm going to get,
awesome.
I know. So I'm going to be teaching time management, stress management, emotional intelligence, fun things like that. So I'm really excited. So the moral of the story is, with business, just small business, it's not ready, aim, fire. It's fire, aim, ready. So don't wait till all your ducks in a row, because as a small business owner, there's always going to be a duck out of the row. And that's good, because we're all the black duck that's going ahead of the pack. All the yellow ducks are working jobs and they're just over broke, but we have infinite potential to create our maximum income revenue. We have the SBDC to help and support us, and that's what I'm here for. So if I can support you in any way, there's no cost for my services. It's all through prepaid through your tax dollars. You just have to sign up for the services through the SBDC.
Deborah, this has been not only educational, it's been entertaining, it's been inspirational, it's been fun. Okay. I learned a lot, and I want to thank you so much for your time and your energy. You always come back on the show. I'm going to have you come back again. Guys, know that Lauren is going to get out all this information if you didn't get it. Deborah, I was just going to say, throw in the chat just a few minutes before we shut off. Throw in anything that you want anybody to know so they get the links, because Lauren would usually be copying them right now, and I want to make sure everybody can get in touch with you. Okay. Deborah, thank you so much. I want to thank you to everybody in the audience. I know we had a bunch of new people here today, which is brought to you with having our great guest, Deborah, on. Please join us again next week for Small Biz Talk with your host, Lori Williams, where we're going to have another fascinating entrepreneurial journey. Check out all that Deborah has to offer. There is so much. And Deborah, we're going to touch back with you a little bit and have you come on, because it's an ever-changing world, and we always love seeing your face and having your energy with us.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye, everybody.